hello. Welcome to Absolute Cuts this week. This week is going to be, I'm not going to say shambolic, but it might be.
I think there's a solid chance.
We're up against the time because we are round at Slossy's tonight, where we do it normally in the studio, and we are going tomorrow. Can we say where we're going yet? Because this won't.
He's not going to listen to it by 8 in the morning.
Aye.
Yeah.
So we're going to Amsterdam tomorrow for Gareth Waugh's stag do. And we're meeting up here tonight beforehand for drinks, the Arsenal Newcastle game, which you've ditched because
I feel like a bad fan, but I'm up against it tonight on time.
And then we're going to play golf after this.
I usually, even on our worst days, I will stick it out and foam at the mouth for a week.
Yeah.
Do you know? But today I was like,
we need to get it done. And I have thought I was being funny and made an arse of it by keeping Ryan waiting and then going for a drink in a local pub because it's something that I do that I find incredibly funny, but it annoys the piss out of everyone else.
It's so funny because when you walked in, I had the picture up going. I was like, this is an old picture. He's not done this time. And I had the fucking picture. But you know what's quite funny is I almost, because Gareth was convinced he's going to like Prague and all that, right? But the funniest thing is that I gave it away today on the radio.
Really?
It was pre-recorded, and I was like, "Can you cut that part out?" Not that on the off chance somebody's listening to Hardy FM.
Aye,
and you know,
you were in Heart today,
and Des Clark. I was doing an Irish comedian chatting about the Six Nations, and we had to do a lyric game, right? And I fucking lost, right? So they're like, "How many?" You know. Did you predict the score? And I was like, Ireland by 5. And I go, that's very modest. And I was like, 5 tries, you fucking wank. Right? But we were doing like a lyric game. And you had to answer the lyrics of like, she was doing like Scottish songs, whatever. The Jennifer, the Coke presenter, she was doing doing like Scottish songs and filling in the fucking things. And I was doing the Irish songs. Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there going, this is easy. I had like fucking...
You too.
Tell I had the cranberries, like my favorite. I was like, easy. And then the last one, I spaffed it, man.
What was it?
Picture of You by Boys One. I went, I've got a picture of you in my life.
Oh, you fucking idiot. In my mind. Jesus.
So I reckon my citizenship should be somewhat
Have you seen the Boys One got a documentary out?
No, I heard it's just Walsh is a pedo.
I've watched a couple of clips of it, right? And I've always quite liked the boys in Boyzone. Because like Shane Lynch was always a mad bastard when he was like riding dirt cars and all that kind of shit, wasn't he? And then Ronan Keating, I've always found quite a happy chap. And then Mike, have you seen Mikey? I think it's Mikey.
Is that I know 3 of them.
Who's the one that's married to the Taoiseach? His daughter. Was that a Westlife?
Do you know what? I didn't. It does strike a
Shane Lynch. Gately was the one that died.
Yeah, remember we had the podcast where they got
bombed to death.
They tried to kill me, all his fans.
Yeah,
because like Lynch and Gately are from like the really cool part, the strong part of the thing, like in there.
So Gately
got bombed
Keating,
to death. Yeah,
Lynch, Mikey Graham.
Mikey Graham,
the fucking other guy.
You're right. Mikey Graham's the guy in the movie that we were going to do for the podcast. Mikey Graham's in Fatal Deviation.
Right. One of them's massive, big fat fucker now.
Oh, is he?
But I've watched a couple of clips of it where Louis Walsh genuinely comes out like a fucking sociopath. Like they're talking about like they would come home and read stories about them in the paper that never happened. So they'd be attached to certain girls or certain things happening, and their family would be phoning them and going, what's this? And like, this never happened. One weekend they came back and there was a story about them in the News of the World that they'd been in a plane crash. And they were like, it never happened. And then it cuts to Walsh and he's going, yeah, I just gave that plane crash shit to the press. Like, he's a fucking psychopath. Like,
I reckon there'll be a lot more. I know some stuff's come out with like, you know, like Simon Cowell and them type of lads that are just like pushing them like One Direction and all that kind of shit. But like, you reckon there's just going to be a bigger bombshell with all that?
Oh, aye.
Like, did you see today, even it's starting to heat up? Like, you see like Cher Lloyd. Do you remember Cher Lloyd?
Yeah.
Did you see her interview?
No.
Where her record were like, you know, I don't know if she still does music or anything. She maybe, I don't know, she's totally fucking wanker here, but I haven't heard of her in a while. And she was just like, so when I was 17, just turned 18, X Factor, my label told me before they could carry on with the next one, I have to go to the certain nightclubs that Justin Bieber was at and try and seduce him.
Jesus Christ.
And you're just like, what the fuck has this got to do with anything? Like, that's criminal. Like,
there's a horrible Cher Lloyd, because it was a very funny clip where she did like a rap kind of grime version of Coldplay's I hear Jerusalem, the bells are ring-a-ding, like that kind of, whatever that fucking song was called.
Ring-a-ding.
Yeah, ring-a-ding. And I've got fucking hair coming out my nose. But then there's an episode where she goes to the judges' houses. So like Cheryl Cole's her judge, and Will.i.am's like the kind of guy that they bring out, like the mentor kind of put, like oh fuck it, she's got Will.i.am. So they're in this house in like LA or something, and she's got, seems more than a bad throat. It seems like she's got fucking pneumonia, right? She looks sick, ill as shit, can barely speak, and then struggles through this audition. And then is clearly distraught because she's destroyed her own fucking life. And you're going, she's 16.
Yeah, just...
And then there was an episode where she was on, like, before they picked the judges' houses, and Louis Walsh again kind of went, really brave of you to get up there, considering there's a hate campaign about you in the public and the press. And she was like, I wasn't aware there was a hate campaign. I said, fucking 16 years old, for Christ's sake.
Hate campaign.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to fix this. I've got one of my moustache hairs keeps tickling my nose here.
Do you know we're dressed very differently? People are confused because you've just landed and I was like, pajamas.
Yeah, you're in pajamas and an Arsenal top.
I tanked most of this.
Nice. I've got...
I honestly went to the lads, like, because I keep getting like beers and like ciders and shit. Sissy Cross obviously sponsors Sloss and Boosters. They're everywhere, right? And I was like, my stomach can't deal with it anymore. Like, I can go hard for like 2 days in a row. And I was like, I can't make one of them tonight.
Aye.
So I was like, I'll drink a liter of hard liquor instead.
Aye. I've got Tysky and Prosecco.
Yeah, it was quite a combo. You came in double back. Like,
yeah. I love Prosecco, man. Brilliant.
I do have a confession, though. I did lie to a lot of the Discord people.
Right.
About last week's episode.
Yes.
Where I lost the master file after I posted it.
Yeah, and you don't hear my voice at the end of it. Yeah,
it looked like I was like, oh yeah, I tried to pan it off like I played you off like the Oscars when you were trying to pump when you're trying to like chat about the Patreon and our tour shows. My tour shows.
I was trying to make the podcast and our careers grow.
And I had no idea. Again, usual. Like, do you know what happens to me? Like, because if we're in a rush or anything, I'd be like skipping on. I go, the levels are good.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Never click the music because I'm like, that's just the end. So that's what I was like. You played off Nelson. That's hilarious. And I go, yeah, man, that was hilarious, wasn't it? Then I went, but it's just quite funny. The timing was actually accidentally fucking perfect.
It's bang on the minute I start speaking. Because I say, thanks very much for listening, and then I go, if you want to... Fuck. Before we start the film, because we are in a rush.
We're not in a rush. We'll do 45.
Yeah, this is going to be... it's not going to be we're just not going to ramble as much, because we do have a lot to talk about in this film as well.
Because we have 45 minutes here. If you're looking the Patreon, join the Patreon. This week we're going to be chatting nonsense. Actually, what we're going to do, we'll be chatting usual nonsense. That's going to be out on Monday, probably Monday.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the regular episode next week. And then I think Sloss is going to jump on our Patreon episode next week. So
yeah, I think he's going to be our first guest. And we're not doing this because we are not taking this seriously. Certainly not this film. We are doing this so we don't wake a child.
Yeah,
because I have a child locked in my boot. The drugs are going to wear off in 45 minutes. I have timed my erection perfectly.
Can I just say also, why did you drug the child?
I don't know.
Because you were just put it in the boot, like
just a noise.
Oh, noise.
Just a constant. Nah.
Yeah. I don't want to just go gag it. Yeah. Like we're getting way too deep. Like way too deep into this.
The last thing I want to say is, and I said this to you this week. A bellend. This follows on from my hatred of kids that I was talking about in our Patreon. Right. There was a kid this week ruined professional wrestling for Sheamus. right?
Yeah.
So I went to pick him up. He had a hospital appointment. I went to pick him up, and he comes out, and I could tell he had something to tell me, and he was acting quite kind of shifty, and he was like, so I learned something today, and I don't really want to tell you either, because I think you'll be properly devastated by it as well. But
that's sad.
So I said, all wrestling's fake, and I didn't know how to deal with it, because I was like, right, I don't know, because like,
that's a hard one to approach.
Yeah, the Santa thing, I'm like, that needs to come to an end at some point, because you don't want people to think they've got fucking special needs. But like,
usually by like 11 or 10 years.
Yeah, I reckon
you would definitely know anyway before you go to secondary school.
Last year was the last one we got out of Isla, I reckon, because she was on the fence
what
about
is
it.
Now, then?
She's 11 now. So last year was she was like hedging her bets.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I remember, so he said to me, it's all fake. And I was like, right. And he said, but he started going on about like, they don't really hit each other. And the rings are all on springs. And he was like, do you know how they hit each other? They like bash their feet on the ground, so it sounds like they hit each other. And I was like, right, I don't know how deep it's going to go into this.
It's hard to explain the theatrics of it to a child.
And I was just going to keep it at, right, yes, the rings are on springs so that they don't... I was very much a kind of... They do get hurt. Every move is real. They are taught how... They learn how to fall in a way that they don't hurt themselves. But the stuff you saw last night at the Royal Rumble, like getting slammed on the top of a ladder, that would have hurt. People have broken their necks. People have done all this kind of stuff.
Literally died, yeah.
And I wanted to keep it, so I was like, yes, the ring is on springs so that it absorbs the shock of their body, so their body don't take the hit. Yes, they don't hit each other properly because they would just get knocked out. Look at the size of them.
It'd be a terrible watch.
If the Big Show hit you, you'd be flat out for 10 minutes. So what they do is, yes, they make a noise, but they still hit them. And I showed them, I was like, imagine me hitting your hand like that. But you kind of stop before you do it, but it still looks like. So I was like, right, he's cool with all that. And then, so I was like, right, I'm just going to keep it at that because that's still. And then he said, and they don't know who wins beforehand, do they? And I was like, fuck. And I was like, do you honestly want to know the truth? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, they pretty much. They decide who wins before it.
Do you know what? You did the right call.
Yeah.
You had to wait until he said that. You wouldn't have told him. If you were to, like, I do not get wrestling. Like, I watched wrestling when I was a kid. I liked it for about, very short, even when I was a kid, I liked it for about a year and a half. It was always, I always loved the fucking Hardy Boys or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was that little era where there was the Edge and Christian and I loved that shit, right?
The Attitude Era.
But do you know how I got out of it? I was so confused when I was like 10 years old. I used to watch it with my neighbors who took care of me, right? And like after school or whatever, I'd babysitting. Right? And they had an older child, let's just say. He was probably like 16 or something when I was like 10. And one day, usually I would just watch his, like, he would always tape the most recent matches on a VCR, right? And one day I turned it on, 10 years old, and I just sat there for 25 minutes, like, watching lesbian porn. I was sitting there going,
yeah.
A lot of
That's
titties today on SmackDown.
That's right? The Attitude Era. Yeah.
Right. So I remember she walked in her thing. She was like, "What the fuck?" She was also like, "This is my son."
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely got him in trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get you watching it or whatever. But I don't. I also don't like shit on it. Like, in fairness, like I do it in the group to you, but. I don't know what you would do with kids and everything there. I think you probably did the right thing because you don't want to.
I mean, it is like, as I said to him. I said to him that I remember the day because I was about the same kind of age that I learned it wasn't real. Like, I remember the day because I was defending the Intercontinental title against Kane at SummerSlam.
Isn't he like a Republican senator now? It's always something like that.
I learned a completely different way. I learned a way because my dad came in to me and my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, so he was properly into it, and basically went, "Why are you watching this shite? It's all fake." So
You didn't even get a back.
It wasn't even like a cushioning blow for that.
What I will say about them is they are two things, right? They're showmen, and they're stuntmen.
Yeah.
So it's like watching a movie and being like, that's impressive. Like, no harm, but I remember I watched that thing live back in the day. Was it The Undertaker and Mankind, that Hell in a Cell? That was the little era I was watching. I watched that live.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, right through the cage, right through the table. And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, because at that time I knew it was fake, but I was just like, man, that's still a 15-foot fall. They know how to roll.
That's what I was telling him. I was like, that kind of shit, like, is real. Like, the boys, they put their fucking bodies on the line. They're lunatics.
I think it's horrible that, like, YouTubers are getting involved. Like Logan Paul and that Speed guy. I'm like,
that fucking Speed guy came into the Royal Rumble. Yeah,
right.
I never heard of him in my life.
Oh, have you not? Right.
Show Speed.
Right. He is. I don't have the hate towards him compared to, like, the Logan Pauls and all them guys, right? This guy is an American. He went into the football realm.
Right.
So I Show Speed just became a Ronaldo fan. Right. And I know this just from basing. I don't really watch his videos. Like, he is literally everywhere on TikTok, my TikTok all the time, right? And he plays somewhat of a character, blah, blah, blah. He just gets angry at everything, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you one thing about him. He has jumped into, I guess, nonsense. It's crap, like as most YouTubers are. But he did tune into, like, the football stuff. Like, you seen him at, like, the Roma Lazio game in front of, like, 20,000 fans going, he doesn't have a fucking clue about the players. But they kind of, like, embraced him a little bit for the whatever. So I saw a video of him yesterday. The only thing I've ever seen funny, it was horrible, right? He watches reaction videos of people to him, and it was just him sitting there, right? And it was this guy, and he just puts this bag, and it's obviously like a bag of charcoal. And this guy just goes, this white guy just goes, whatever, and takes it off, and he's just a black head, and he walks over and takes a picture of a goat, and then it just flashes up Speed and Ronaldo's picture. And he just goes, you can see the reason why I find it so funny, he's obviously playing somewhat of a character, and you could see the nearly burst out laughing, but then how he pretend he was angry and he smashes thing. It's shite, right? But I did see the hit he took.
The spear he takes with Braun Breaker. Jesus Christ.
He does a lot of, like, that was quite good. I've seen him do a couple of, like, things for YouTube where I went, that's actually quite a good effort. Like, he eventually trained to try and play, I think, a charity game or some sidemen shite or whatever, the usual crap, right? And thing, but I was like, it's fair. Not fair play to him.
Logan Paul, who I also hate, he did a thing. Wasn't the Royal Rumble last year or something, or maybe Elimination Chamber? He did a thing where the two of them leapt off the top rope and met each other in midair, and the fucking noise when the two of their bodies clash. It's like the kind of move that wrestlers of an experience wouldn't fucking try, because you go, that's insane that you've done that. Like,
I get it. They've been trying to be athletes and all that shit, but, like,
by that fucking hit that Speed guy took,
he did
Jesus
it well.
Christ
Good
almighty.
Hit. Good hit. That looked
fucking getting hit by a truck, man.
I put it like this, that looked like a proper whiplash.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Put it like this, it's one of those ones, like, 90% of YouTube is crap.
Yeah.
I know there's more famous stuff than, say, like, obviously things are getting 100 million views and everything. That's nonsense. But I'm always like, could I do it?
Yeah.
Very quickly. Could I get 6 months and do something like that if I had the money?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. Look, imagine me in a Royal Rumble. No, couldn't pull it off. So at the same time, there is a little bit of that. You have to be arrogant and stupid enough for a lot of it.
I'll just tell you this quick before we go on to the film. Years ago, we did a sketch stand-up type show for when the Commonwealth Games was being hosted in Glasgow. And as part of the...
Get away.
That
was Gareth shouting 4-4.
See if it is.
It's not 4-4. It's obviously not 4-4. It is the 89th minute and it's 2-0 Newcastle. We were doing a sketch because we were trying to do various sketches for the events that were in the Commonwealth Games, and I took a rock bottom from Grado. Grado was a professional wrestler.
So he was a big celebrity at the time. This is before he became like, he went on to Scott Squad and radio and stuff like that. But we were going to do a sketch where it was basically like, I can't even remember what the sketch was. It was like, I was like a normal fucking guy that had entered the wrestling or something like that. And so we spent about 2 hours with him teaching me how to take, he would take the majority of the hit when we landed on the mat. And see, even then, fuck me, it was genuinely agony. Like the wind was knocked completely out of me. And he was saying like, you need to listen to what I'm saying, because if you move
the wrong way,
half a foot to the right, you'll really hurt yourself. We need to trust each other completely.
I'd say they get a lot of shoulder injuries just by the rolls. You slightly get a roll wrong. Yeah. Do you know, like, there was one, is it something Duggan? Hacksaw
Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan had a cameo about me once. I did a roast battle and someone paid for one. And he was like, right, Cullen, I'll fucking... The dude was like in his house in like Texas, covered with like, you know, it was like a deer head there.
Did he have a slab of wood with him?
Yeah, he didn't even dress up. He was in one of those aprons with like the naked.
Amazing. Right, this week's film is your choice, so I'll let you introduce this classic.
Right, so I kind of try to set you up on this a little bit, right? Because I was kind of sure the way I said it that you hadn't seen it. Right, and I love a creature feature, as they're called. You know, I like a good lot of them. You know, like the bad ones. I actually prefer the bad ones. No, outside of Jaws, which is obviously classic and all that. You know, like Crawl and fucking Deep Blue Sea and all.
Deep Blue Sea, yeah.
So Anaconda was one where I know it's a bad film. Like it's trash. It's so shite. Trash. Can't believe I said that. I've got Jim Duggan in my head, right? It's crap, right? And I fucking love it. I think it's so entertaining, right? So I was like, you actually sent me a message going, this is terrible. And then you sent a message later going like, quite enjoying this. Like, I think it's so enjoyable. It's so shit. It's one of those perfect where they tried.
Yeah.
They definitely tried. And they fucked it. And they fucked it in the right way. Where you're like, this is it. Like, there was not one part of the film I'm either not laughing or else going... But not really in an actual good way.
I sent you that message about 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fucking hell, man, this is utter shite. But it then gets... The minute John Voight turns up, you're like, good God, this is the best portrayal of a villain I've ever seen in my life.
I honestly think... I actually don't like John Voight in pretty much most stuff, right? See, he turns up in a couple of things, and he's usually like a bit part. Sometimes he's quite good at a short bit part. You know?
So I'd say probably Deliverance was his.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, man. I didn't even fucking remember him in Deliverance. Is he in Deliverance?
He's in Deliverance. Yeah, he's one of the dudes in Deliverance. Yeah.
He's not the guy with the shoulder broken. No, the one they find in the. Anyway,
no,
I haven't seen Deliverance in a long time.
He's not Burt Reynolds, and he's not Ned Beatty that gets pumped. Yeah. And he's not the guy that plays the banjo. He's the other one. Right, let's find out. John Voight
wasn't the banjo kid. That was Nicholas Hoult.
What?
I'm fucking joking.
The films I would associate, because obviously this is the second John Voight film I've done, because he's the baddie in the first Mission Impossible.
Oh yes.
So Midnight Cowboy, that's his opus.
Oh, I got freaked out there. I watched the film 2 days ago.
Midnight Cowboy?
No, I watched Drugstore Cowboy. I was just looking at you.
Matt Dillon.
I was like, he's not in that. And I love Drugstore. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
No,
good film. Watch
Midnight Cowboy where he plays the gigolo.
I haven't seen Midnight Cowboy.
It's a pretty bleak film. It's grim.
So is Drugstore Cowboy.
Yeah, sorry. And he's in Heat as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah. That's one of the ones I'm like, he's quite good at a bit part. It's amazing that Angelina Jolie came from him. That's one of those ones.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if you were like, oh, Jessica Alba, you know, like, is her dad Les Dennis? And you're just, what? What? Right. So this film, right? First of all, they started off. The two main actors are singers.
Yeah.
Right.
The first scenes, I didn't realize it was Danny Trejo.
You didn't. Well, I mean,
I didn't.
No, I will say one thing. It's obviously Danny Trejo, but he does look young. I only know him looking like the old, more wrinkly Danny Trejo.
Weather damaged Danny Trejo, yeah.
I call him Danny Trejo, and obviously I'm wrong. Now, did you pronounce it like that?
I always assumed it would just be Trejo.
No, I definitely think
silent J.
I definitely think you're right.
That's why I call her just low.
Danny Trejo was like in the cartel, wasn't he? And he went up. He was in prison for like attempted murder or something.
He's an actual badass.
He was. Then he did the turn. I don't want to. I think I might be wrong in this. He definitely went down so mental when he was younger. He got into acting after he changed his life around, but only plays the acts that he used to do, you know.
What year is this? This is 97, I think.
Something like, I don't know, but it is, I would have had 97 in my head.
So I'm trying to work out, because the first time I came across Danny Trejo was in Desperado and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, Desperado's what, 2002?
No, fuck no. Really? Desperado.
Is it 96 maybe?
Yeah, because that was when Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino were the fucking boys in Hollywood. So
Desperado was in 95.
95? So
it's before this.
So Dusk Till Dawn would probably be before that. I reckon Dusk Till Dawn was probably 96.
94 maybe? From Dusk Till Dawn?
Nah,
96?
96, aye.
Well done.
All right, so he wasn't massive, but he was.
Why did he look less like himself in this? He seemed thinner and less. Like you know, he's obviously another guy. But it's not. I mean, first of all, they had Danny Trejo in the first thing, right? First of all, the main actors are singers, right? Now, J-Lo, for example, right? I don't like J-Lo as an actress, right? I don't really like her music, but
she's good and out of sight.
Right. I do have a thing where I've only seen her in a couple of films, like 3-4 films. Mm-hmm. And one or two of them are like Oliver Stone films, that terrible one. I can't remember.
Traffic.
Wasn't Traffic. She was in a terrible Oliver Stone film with like, was it your man? It's Oliver Stone. Look at this. Oliver Stone. I'll tell you what it is.
Is it Sean Penn?
Sean Penn and Oliver.
This rings a bell with me as well.
U-Turn, 1997.
U-Turn.
Sean Penn, Nick Nolte, Jennifer Lopez, Joaquin Phoenix, and Big Bob Thornton. That's quite a
fucking hell.
It's quite, and John Voight.
Yeah.
And Claire Danes. What the fuck is this film?
The cast in this is fucking incredible.
Right. So J-Lo, I find definitely serviceable, as in like that sounds so bad, but. She does the lines and she does it all right.
House. That's what you're saying. She's a Latin American woman, serviceable. She will clean your pool. That's what you're saying.
But J-Lo is like fine. She just says the lines, and I'm always like, I don't get it. You shouldn't do that many films, to be honest. I think it's quite a good effort as a singer that's not a natural actor, blah blah blah. But even in this, I'm like, you could have replaced her with anyone.
Oh, I think she's utterly fucking forgettable in this.
Totally forgettable as the main actress. And I think a lot of times when I see her, it's, you know what I mean. I think that's fine. She's not a whatever, but. I laugh at, there is quite big actors in this, and yet again, like most films I see, Ice Cube is a better actor than most of them. I thought Ice Cube was better.
Quite effortless, actually, by Ice Cube.
He is quite effortless, even when he's doing stupid shit where they're like, can you just do that Ice Cube kind of stare?
Yeah.
Still does it, like The Rock would be able to do as whatever.
Yeah.
But I honestly think he's the best actor in this.
Did you see the wee nod he had at the start when they're packing all their shit up for the boat, and he goes, "It's going to be a good day."
Yeah,
and I was like, yes.
Yeah, right. It's not. Today is not a good day.
I don't know if he's the best. Owen Wilson's the best in this.
He definitely. I had him second.
He encapsulates our horny guy more than anyone I think ever has. He specifically mentions how horny he is.
He's like mosquitoes and he's sweating. He's just like, He said, "You ever notice how the
jungle? It's the fact that it's the jungle. How many times have you been in the jungle, Wilson?
jungle makes you horny?"
And then they go into the jungle to pump.
Aye, that's going to work well.
What a fucking disastrous move.
Do you know, like, you're always saying in Amazon, you hear stories about, if you piss in the river, that heat sensing fucking fish that are everywhere in the Amazon or the Nile swim up your thing and explode into the spikes. Do you know we know someone that's happened to? This isn't a joke. You're looking at me.
I know it's a joke because I've looked into this fish for this podcast.
He didn't get it in the Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But you know Brett Vincent? Mm-hmm. Brett Vincent took a piss in somewhere in Africa. I think it wasn't the Nile. It was like Malawi,
mm-hmm.
and up the stream inside, and it didn't. But it wasn't the spike one,
right?
But it laid eggs in his testicles, and I refused not to look at it because he said he had a video where you see things moving in one of his testicles, and he had to take dog lice tablets to get rid of it. And dog lice tablets are like that thick.
Is that why Brett's kids have got gills?
I don't want to. Brett is he's been pissing in a river in Africa, and
do you know what that made? Because
and he said he was pissing blood and he goes, I couldn't sit down without extreme pain for 2 months.
I'm going to ask him about this tomorrow.
Genuinely, yeah, because I've never heard. I know the myth. I've heard the thing. It wasn't the same fish. He said it's not the one because the one I'm talking about is in the Amazon. And it comes up and it spikes. It goes into spike a spike into.
Yeah, it goes into you and then it just becomes like a porcupine and just.
Yeah, this one goes into your testicles and lays eggs in your.
That's even worse. I'd rather take the spike, lad.
No, I wouldn't. But I'm not saying that either are good options.
This makes sense, right? Because I looked up this fish that they talk about, and that's the one with the spikes where it goes up inside your urethra, and. I read about it and they were I read about it on Wikipedia and they said it's not as prevalent as films would have you believe because it's mentioned in quite a few films. There's only ever been one documented evidence of it.
Okay. So it's just, it'll follow, basically all they said was it'll follow heat.
But
and it's happened once.
But the guy, they said that the guy that there is a case of, he was just taking a pee in the river.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how the fuck is it getting into his cock? Because I was like,
it's meant to be tiny though.
Aye, is this thing jumping? But now you made me realise it just follows a stream. It swims up your piss stream, and then
it doesn't jump. You apparently wouldn't barely notice it.
That's blown my mind.
It follows the piss stream upwards, even though this piss is coming out. It's because it's small enough to not really get. I think it's so small that it can the force of the piss isn't going to keep it down. It just kind of just goes. It just follows it.
That explains so much because I genuinely thought the thing leaped out of the water.
You thought
jumped in the air.
What I've been told is you actually don't know what's happened.
Right.
So it's not like you're just going. It's not like you're pissing in your. There's a fish on the cock.
And also, to be fair, I had it a lot bigger than this. I had it like a salmon. I was like, how are you not noticing this thing?
No, it goes up the stream.
Why are you not batting it away before it gets to the?
Jaeger's like, don't you spike up?
Don't you spike up?
Now, we're going to get into John, right? Because John makes this film, John Voight, right? So, now, I'm going to say this is the most dreadful performance by accident that becomes iconic. This is one of the most iconic, dreadful performances of all time for me. It's not good in any way. He acts weird. It kind of works for some reason because the film's bad. If it was a better film and he was doing that thing, you'd be just like, what is he doing?
He'd be out of place, yeah.
He'd be out of place. It just felt in place. He's not good. He's creepy. He's already creepy looking. And he plays a Paraguayan.
Yeah.
Called Paul. His name is Paul Serrano or something like that. But it's Paul the Paraguayan.
I thought it was I'd never I think that might be the first Paraguayan character I've ever seen in a film.
Now, if you haven't seen this film, he attacks every sentence with, say if there is six words in a sentence, 3 of them is in a Paraguayan accent, and then it just finishes on his normal accent.
He just gives up, yeah.
he gives up his like, there's a part where he just like leans in and goes, the river will kill you in 1,000 ways. And I was like, that kind of ended half Nigerian.
Yeah.
Like,
don't make me out to be a monster. It wasn't me that killed the captain.
it wasn't me that killed Captain Matteo. He just said Matteo in an Italian accent because it sounds Italian. Like, it's so bad, right? I mean, I can only imagine how shite so I'm torn. Because he's dog shit in the film by any stretch of the imagination, but the film would be dog shit without him. Like, the film would be real bad without him. He does carry all the scenes. There is parts where you're like, when you lose yourself in the film, which you have to do a little bit to enjoy this piece of shit, right? But like, I love it. Like, this is one of my favorite shite films of all time. He does carry it. It would be terrible without him.
Do you know who turned it down before him and turned it down immediately? Like, literally immediately. They offered it first to Sean Connery, and he went, no. Fuck off. A fucking snake. A massive snake.
He couldn't do a Paraguayan accent.
He turned it down, and then Tommy Lee Jones turned it down immediately.
We need more lemon, please.
And then Voight was like, yes. I've been trying to do all the way in the train over the sneer, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to turn you need to. Like,
it's a decent effort.
I end up looking like Don Corleone.
Yeah.
Right? It's very difficult to turn all of your, like, both sides of your mouth downwards.
Yeah.
And then still look creepy.
Yeah.
It's really, it's quite a talent. Because there is like a very famous scene where J-Lo puts her hair up a lot in this. Yeah. She's forever putting her hair up and down and being sweaty. That's what J-Lo does.
I don't want to be a thing, but say if I was going to the Amazon to like document on a tribe is what they're in for, you know. If I was going on like a boat trip to the Amazon, I would have brought a bra.
Yes, there's a lot of...
She, Jennifer Aniston, this up.
There's a lot of swinging breasts, not just from her, but the one that Owen Wilson pumps as well.
Do you know, I don't want to be, I found her quite attractive.
Oh, gee, she's lovely, yeah.
I don't know who that is.
She's lovely. She's lovely. I've never sounded so old man in my life. Oh, she's lovely.
We've had fucking Captain Morgan in the Tesco, and we're like...
tell you, that young lady, a lovely young lady. Oh, I tell you...
What a lovely girl.
Oh, listen, I was fucking...
I don't know her from
I'd take her home to meet my parents, I tell you that much.
But, you know, I wouldn't say a strong actress or anything, but...
I've never seen her in anything else.
What was... The snake... Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I was going to say the snake as well.
Okay, good. The snake is...
Shite.
Robotic, I believe.
I had no idea that they'd made an animatronic snake.
So here's my problem with the 90s in general. This is how good...
Fucking tread carefully, sunshine.
I do love it. I was born in it, right? Jurassic Park was so good.
4 years before this.
Jurassic Park was so good it fucked everything. I mean, there was nothing 7 years after that captured any sort of animatronic thing anywhere near as realistic. That's the brilliance of Spielberg, you know, and whatever the the Jurassic Park, right? Nobody's ever really captured, because you see films afterwards you've seen 100 times. Even Lord of the Rings 2001, I don't think anything in their graphics, that's the first one that's the turning point where they get good again. But nothing's really came towards Jurassic Park, that first one.
I would say Jurassic Park, milestone.
Obviously, Jaws.
Then,
obviously, but
that like
that's just above all of it, kind of. Yeah.
Well, no, because that like I'm like in terms of actual, because then you can go back to like fucking Clash of the Titans and stuff and the stop motion stuff.
That is true. Jason and the Argonauts. I love Jason and the Argonauts. You like Jason and the Argonauts?
I fucking love that film.
I watch it every Easter.
The skeletons
This is quite fun. When I was a kid, and all the way through the thing, I've watched Jason and the Argonauts about 20 times.
It's a phenomenal film.
That's a film where I watch and I go, how the fuck? Do you remember the part where they go on a boat coming through, like, to...
Yeah.
I think the rocks collapse or something. I'm like, how the fuck did they do
miniatures
that?
and
19 fucking whatever.
Harryhausen.
Unbelievable. But anyway.
So Jurassic Park, I think, is the standard bearer. And I don't think anything takes it forward again until The Matrix.
Actually, do you know what I'm thinking about now?
Wait a minute. T2.
I'm actually thinking about a couple of things here. Not in the same vein, because in Jurassic Park, they're more right out there at all times, so it's a little bit harder to do. Alien. The first Alien's amazing. T2, as you just said. Yeah.
T2,
Terminator 1 had its problems. I love it. But
Terminator 2, then Jurassic Park. But then I don't think anything really dazzled until The Matrix. So that's 99.
No, I definitely agree. So, like, this film was caught in the middle. It like, if you were to compare it overall, it's 6 out of 10. If you compare it to Jurassic Park, it's 2 out of 10.
I don't think there was
animatronic didn't work.
I don't think there's any need for the snake to be this shite.
I don't think there's any need to show the snake.
No.
Nobody cares. There's parts where it, even when it broke through windows, it would just be like, obviously fake and not that much snake movement, and the window would clash, and you're just like, you actually didn't really need to do this.
But you don't need to do it in terms of, you don't even need to do it. So any attack, you just have the camera rushing at someone and then them reacting. But even with the squeezing, which anacondas do, don't have that. Just have whatever, just have an actual fucking physical built rubber thing wrapping around them and just get the effect just from their reaction in their face. You know they're getting squeezed.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you my anaconda story in Australia?
No.
Oh my God, man. I banged your mum. Sorry. Oh, no. Okay, hold on.
I should have known that there's no anacondas in fucking Australia. What the fuck am I?
I just said Australia. They might have a fucked up animal. Have you ever held a snake like this?
Yes.
Yeah, I have too, but it was never an anaconda.
I've had pythons round my neck. It's
Were
really.
Were you wanking?
Yeah. It's Hulk Hogan giving me a hug. The worst bits, because the snake, the animatronic, the fucking bit, and it's a cool as fuck scene where it squeezes a panther so tight that it pops its eye out. That's cool as fuck. But there's a bit in that scene, right? Again, you don't need to show it. Just show the panther, right? Which is a real panther that they're filming.
Really good.
The panther's
that looked great.
The panther's just minding its own business, searching for food. You see the camera coming towards it.
Like you said, yeah.
Just then have a squeal or a roar or something,
yeah,
and then
you actually don't need
and
to
then
see it.
get to see something dragging the panther away. That's all you need.
Yes.
What they do is the panther's cutting about. The snake comes in. You see the snake. It squeezes a panther. The panther then has a look on its face that's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Like it's in the octagon in the UFC trying to tap out.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're like, do you know what? You're right. It's the number one thing we say about alien movies on this podcast, creature features. Show it as least as possible.
Yeah.
You have to make your imagination do the work. I know now they're like, we don't have to do that anymore. We can show it. But what they don't realize is, regardless if they do it well or not, by looks wise,
stylistically, it's better if you don't. Yeah,
it's just better if you're doing it in your head. Regardless of what they show you, your head's scarier. Yeah. So you're doing that type of shit, right? Obviously, this film is real dog shit, really funny. I mean, first of all, Danny Trejo. Well, I've got notes. We'll go for the notes, right? That we have for
the last thing I'll say about the snake. The worst bits of the snake are where they combine the animatronic. I thought it was all CGI, right? It looks that bad. The bits where they combine animatronics and CGI, where it looks like a fucking cutscene in a PlayStation 1 game, where it climbs a fucking ladder or it swims up a waterfall.
You don't even show it.
The worst, I fucking howled laughing when it eats Owen Wilson and it goes underwater and you see it swishing past, and there is a perfect imprint of Owen Wilson with just a shocked face in its belly. It's like it's his
You messaged me. That was the only other message you sent. I just saw Owen Wilson's perfect.
It's just perfect. It's like they've made a plaster cast of Owen Wilson, and it's in this snake's body, and you're like, that's not how he would go down. He would have exactly the same expression as he had when you ate him.
I've seen tiny snakes eat chickens. That you'd be like, I can't believe that ate a chicken. And you wouldn't go like, just a full chicken.
Actual chicken.
You basically saw his broken nose going, ah. You know, he was basically going, wow. 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 Right now, first of all, my first problem with this entire film is the Danny Trejo scene, right? So he's freaking out. He's on a boat. He knows this thing's coming. He's obviously been battling with it for a long while, right? Then he basically goes, which one's that?
I don't. Is
that Sloss?
It's Sloss.
He's a fucking. I'll batter him. Right? Do you know I live here now? So I'll
I know.
kill him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill him.
Start stamping your authority in this fucking place.
You know, I went through a mental breakup. I'm now living back at Sloss's. Yeah, you can laugh all you want, right? He's there for me in my lowest. I move as Gareth Waugh made the joke. I'm moving up in the world because I used to be in his basement. I've come back here for a month or two, and I'm living in his attic.
Fucking hell, man! It's
good, isn't it?
Good on you, man.
Yeah, things are working.
How old are you?
Shh. Shh.
Right, let's rattle through.
It wasn't bald the last time I was single.
That's true.
Fucked, man.
God, that's gonna hurt.
I'm fucked.
Right, before we do our notes, I have one piece of trivia.
Don't try and skip over this.
One piece of trivia that's very good. Right?
I've got loads of notes.
10 years after they released this in the cinema, Ice Cube made his own director's cut. Right? He re-edited it released his own cut. Yeah, I don't know if it's on YouTube. I've not checked yet.
How is that even
legal? It's called Iced Anaconda. Right? It used only footage that Ice Cube had shot whilst acting as the cameraman on the original film, right? And Empire magazine called the 10-minute long film the best snake film since Anaconda and gave it 4 stars.
That's amazing. That's an excellent.
I need to find this.
Do you know? I've gone to this thing, right? Like, no matter what film I watch, not even the ones now in the podcast where I refuse to read the trivia or the goofs or anything because I know you're going to bring it. So even like Drugstore Cowboy, I was like, I can't read it just in the off chance. Just in the off chance, Mark. I'm like, what's the chance we're going to go for Drugstore Cowboy? It's a great film, but what's the chances? Yeah. You know? Ice Cube is so good in this, and I also think that he's abnormally good even in comedy films where he like in this one they're trying to be like, you're Ice Cube on a boat, obviously at the height of his career. Nowadays they're like, Ice Cube's over. Kids would know who Ice Cube vaguely is.
Yeah,
he's been a hard man. Jump Street, but he's fucking brilliant in Jump Street. He's brilliant.
He's fucking incredible.
He's brilliant in comedies, and like he's one of the best of that.
He's an all-rounder.
He's just such a good all-rounder, right?
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, at the very first scene, the problems I have with this film is Danny Trejo at the start, right? Do you remember when he finds the gun and all of a sudden the floorboards pop up? Right?
Cool slow-mo shot with the nail.
It is. That was good. Totally unnecessary, but like, who doesn't like a slow-mo shot? I feel like if some dickhead was to review this film and go, the slow-mo shot, I'm like, oh, fuck off. Everyone likes a slow-mo shot.
That was all in on that.
Stop being yeah, exactly. You're the same as me. Stop being a wanker. This is Anaconda. A slow-mo shot's a good thing. This isn't fucking Heat, right? So Danny Trejo grabs the gun and I don't know if you've noticed this, because they obviously wanted to use as much prop as they wanted. He shot downwards and it didn't happen. And he climbed up to the top of the deck. And you know, when he went to shoot downwards, did you see where the bullet went? I think I noticed it. He shot down in the hunt. He runs up to the stop. He's just at the deck before he goes up the last ladder to the pole where he shoots himself. He shoots down and it hits the first step. The very first step, like 2.5, not even 2, like it's about 5 inches. The top step explodes like a bullet hits it. Right? And I was just like, how bad's your shot? His entire life is on the line. And he went, like, you know, like if there's a, like, you know, where that thing is 5 yards away, the snake's coming. He goes, and my knee explodes. That was how bad that shot was. I was like fucking howling. That's the first scene. Like, I mean, like we've done films like The Core and stuff like that. And have you read the actual director's other films?
No. He did The Specialist, which is actually quite a good film. Sylvester Stallone, Sharon Stone, and James Woods.
That's a film that sounds like, when you say The Specialist,
an explosive expert. Yeah, that's a really good film.
Okay.
That's a proper 90s film. Like, that's one of the most 90s films you will ever see in your life.
Okay, good. Right. This guy's called Luis Loza.
He's Peruvian, I believe.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to make it the guy from Peru. Yeah. John Voight can be from Paraguay.
Yeah.
If he fucks it up, he doesn't ruin my life.
Yeah.
You know, right? So this guy's listen to this guy's films, right? I'm not saying it's bad. This is the exact, like, as much as I'm laughing here on a podcast where we're picking it up, it's also the type of shit that I'm like, I will watch your entire filmography more than really good directors. I think we're on the same line as not like, if it's a film's brilliant and it's meant to be brilliant, we'll be like, that's 10 out of 10. If a film's meant to be entertaining and you've got a limited budget and you're making a film called Anaconda, nobody's going like, why hasn't this made the Oscars? Yeah. You're just a fucking
That's
twat.
not boring.
You're just a fucking twat. You're not looking at films in the right way, right? This guy, just the names of some of these are so big. He's made about 7 films, right? Hour of the Assassin was his opener.
Brilliant title.
1989, Crime Zone.
Brilliant again.
Beautiful. 1983, Sniper.
It's no fucking yes, this guy knows.
1983, 800 Leagues Down the Amazon.
Oh, yes. So he's already preparing for Anaconda.
You think that's bad? 1983 again, Fire on the Amazon.
Oh, the guy knows he's Amazon.
1994, The Specialist.
Yes.
And then he went, I fucked it. 1997, back to the Amazon, Anaconda. 2000, he did not, after Anaconda, he did not.
2006, Amazon, the Jeff Bezos story.
After Anaconda, he did not do a film for 8 years.
Right. What did he come back with?
The Feast of the Goat.
Oh. Oh.
Story about this podcast. No. The Feast of the Goat. And then his last film was 9 years after The Feast of the Goat. So it's quite funny. He did Anaconda. He waited 8 years. He did Feast of the Goat. Obviously, I'd never heard of it. So
his passion project.
But in fairness to this cat, I kind of like this. 10 years then went by after that one, and he went, that film, I think. But what I'm saying is, this film was made on a $26 million budget. Actually, quite a lot for the time. It should have been better, right? This film smashed at the box office.
Oh, it's fucking massively
This
popular.
film got like 150 million or something like that. Not smash, but well above its thing. It performed really well. And why did this guy smash the box office film but never got a job? Maybe he just didn't like. Maybe he's an artist.
But there's also the fact that people just wanted to see this. Like, it wasn't like that because it's a cult classic now, and it's kind of watched in the way that we're kind of watching it going. It's very, very funny to watch, but it's still so entertaining. That didn't have that. Right, I'm gonna rattle through my notes. I don't have.
We have overshot it, and I wanted you to stop.
I don't have many. Right. First of all, the English guy that's the documentary presenter. What does he think the game of golf is? Because he brings a net and seemingly an unlimited amount of golf balls. But he is raging anytime he chips above the net. He's only happy if it gets in the net. What does he think golf is?
I'm not going to be light. He had 4 shots. I've wrote this down. He had 4 shots on screen, and one of them hit the net. 3 of them missed the net. That is not even. That's hard to do.
But why is he not just chipping it into the Amazon? I don't.
What? Yeah, why he's got a net? I'm not saying it. I don't want to go.
How?
I don't want to hit a bird. But basically, when they were going to blow up the ecosystem, he went, "Fucking do it." It's not like he cares about that.
What specific a short game is he working on this boat? I don't. One question I have: Voigt is obviously trying to capture a massive king anaconda to sell on the black market, rather than try and get the big man that's clearly in this village that's being protected by a wall. Why not capture one of the baby ones that lands on the ship and let it grow?
Well done, Mark. You've undone the entire Anaconda plot.
That seems my move.
Is it real bad that I am literally going to piss myself and have to sprint?
Yeah, right. We'll very quickly finish this. Can you hold?
Yeah, we gotta go. Yeah, we gotta go. We really gotta go, but for a baby.
Last one. The last 2 points I have. The scene where J-Lo tries to seduce John Voight is one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've ever seen in my life. For 2 reasons. One reason, J-Lo for some reason thinks she needs to make herself up beforehand. She puts on lipstick and then does herself up. At what point are you looking at John Voight in that film and going, well, he's not going to fucking touch me unless I look stunning, right? And secondly, when he goes, it's been a while since I had a woman. And you're like, it's not fucking, it's no, seriously. The last thing I have is the things I feel sorry for the most in this film, monkeys. Monkeys take a lot of shite in this film.
He fucking takes out 2, doesn't he? Like we need bait 3.
He kills one, right? He kills one to use as bait.
Yes.
The anaconda eats one and then spits it at the English guy.
Oh, and in the
move.
blood.
And then in the third, for some reason, he just bleeds one dry so he can fucking throw it over J-Lo.
He seemed to have had a 5-minute window where he regained consciousness, killed a monkey, drained of it of his blood, put it in a bucket, and went just leaped it after.
Tied up to some kind of Saw-style torture mechanism. Right, Ryan's really struggling.
I'm so bad. Do you know, the other thing I will say is snakes don't scream.
No, they hiss.
The last scene was literally going,
yeah.
And I was like, that's nonsense, right?
In a reversal from last week, do you want to go for the toilet and then I'll just finish off the episode?
I'll be back in 2 seconds. I can't explain to you. I have drank. Honestly, I drank the start of mine.
I don't know if I can fill while you're away at the toilet.
Well, just plug the fucking episode.
That's what I said. Right. Okay, I'll plug the episode. You come back and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next week.
Good.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. A huge apologies for it being a bit ramshackle. I thought I was turning up here drunk, but fuck me. This is what I've got to deal with on this fucking thing. If you want to follow either of us, you'll find all of our details on the episode description. We both have tours on sale. I've added a load of dates this week in Oxford, Leicester. All the Irish ones are on there now. Cullen has got all his gigs on there as well. You can buy tickets for them. They're both selling really well, so thank you for all of that. You can watch both our specials. Ryan's on YouTube, mine's on the BBC because I'm better.
I fucking watched it.
Did you?
Kai. I know that shouldn't be a shock, right? But, I don't watch it. When Kai was like, I'll watch it and think, we're over.
Oh, yeah.
This is Kai. He's delighted that...
This is...
Have a chat with Karen.
All right. So Can's obviously in Newcastle.
Uh-huh.
How are you?
This is...
How am I feeling?
This is what a film podcast
Well, I'll
is
tell you
all
what,
about.
Can I watched the first leg and I watched the first half of the second leg, and honestly, you deserved all of it.
That's a Jurassic Park, Mark.
It's not a. I honestly wish that for the podcast, I wish this was any other match in pretty much both of our entire football experiences, where I could start shouting at you for your stupid fucking head. But tonight, yeah, like, I mean, I didn't see anything that we deserved any. Up for it again.
Should probably chat about this afterwards, Kai.
Fucking still only Kai. Did it end 4-0? Did Timber get a yellow?
Right. Next week.
I want to know what next week's films is.
Next week, because I feel that we have...
Sorry, we're doing this in the middle of Stag, as we said.
We have done a lot of shite films since the start of the new year, so I thought we would bring it back to a bit of sense of normalcy with something that I am sure we will both enjoy.
Okay, good.
Next week, we are doing Bridget Jones's Diary. One of the worst films ever made. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Can I just say, right, Mark, no harm to you, right? No harm to you, but like things, I was like, right, we did Speed, great film. We did the other one, and then you went, I got a belter, man. You messaged me and you said, I got a belter, man, right? And I go, great.
I lied.
And no harm. I needed a belter.
Yep.
Things are, my life's turned to shit again.
Yep.
Right? And I went, I need the fucking belter, man.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
I honestly, for some reason, I had heat in my head.
It's going to be bad.
I thought I had heat.
Rennie Zellweger,
You're a fucking
Hugh Grant,
wank, man.
Colin Firth,
Man, it's just my...
a single journalist trying to navigate the desperate dating life of the London journalism.
Man, I'm fucking angry. Do you know why I'm angry? Sex and the City 1 and 2.
Yep.
Possibly the two worst films we've ever done in this. Where, even though not aimed at us, there is a certain level of shiteness to it that we can... This is just fucking shite.
Yeah.
You're a fucking...
We're going to hate this.
Yeah, obviously we're going to
Hate it.
fucking... You know what? Yeah.
I detest this film.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, nice of you, man. Because I saw it in like 2010 and I was suicidal for 10 weeks. And now I'm going to come off a Stag on a come down. And I'm going to watch fucking Bridget Jones's... I'm actually fucking going to kill you.
We're going to watch this in such a bad state. It's so funny.
Man, I'm genuinely angry. Because in my head, I was like, I didn't count it out. And I was like, fuck me, he better choose. And you even set me up saying that. And I'll go, oh, good, we'll have a nice... You're a fucking...
Imagine what it could have been.
You're a
It could have been Con Air.
I don't even know why.
It could have been The Matrix.
I genuinely had... Why would I guess the film? My film was Heat. In my head, I go, he's going to pull out Heat or something.
This is fucking brilliant.
You're a fucking wank, man.
Right.
I'm not even fucking overdoing this because I'm smashed.
No.
You're just a fucking prick
I know.
for that.
I very much enjoy this.
Of course you do.
We shall see you next week.
I'm going to play a picture
Cuts.
of you over this.
Bye-bye.